Hey, my name is Pablo, aka the Notorious GNZ, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you may recall, several weeks ago, I went to my very first local Pokemon VGC event here in the city of Paris, which happens to be my new home. With the excitement of the very first local event, I had to find another to keep on competing in this season. And so, just a month later, I found myself in a town not far out of Paris, competing in my second local event, hoping to do much better than the first time. Here's a look at how that went. Hey, welcome to competition number 2 for me here in the VGC. I don't know what this is. The diving into VGC. I don't know. It's my second competition. I'm going not to the same cafe. They actually had a tournament yesterday. I did not go. I spent time with my wife. Now I'll be going off to Sergey, another town. It's a bit like an hour away, and so it's a long trip, and I'm like super late, so I have to make it on time before 11 in the morning. My team's more refined. I'm still excited. I'm still using Eternatus, but I got some changes, so I'll be showing you guys that a bit later. Once again, one of the main things I want to take from doing this is, last time I said that one of the main reasons I didn't compete was like there was some financial costs I couldn't take, and to be fair, that was always true. There was financial costs that I was like, I can't really do, but there's also a sense of I didn't like to lose. No one likes to lose, but there was also a fear of like, imagine taking an investment, a big investment. Well, you felt like a big investment of your time, of your effort, going somewhere and just getting destroyed. And I always hated that. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. But then I did take so many risks last few years. I did a master's with no money, which now I'm in debt, but I'm paying it off actually very well. I'm living in another country, another continent that I never thought I would be living. And it's all thanks to taking risks. And so here is that. I know that if I don't even try to play, I won't ever know if I'll make it. So here we are, competing to see if I can win. Let's go. Plus, I will say last time I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun meeting new people. Hopefully I'll see somebody that I know from the last month's tournament. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I love Pokemon, man. This is the greatest hobby ever. So I'm ready, I'm packed, I have my snacks. I'm good to go. All right, so I'm in Sergey. I'm probably butchering that name. I'm here. It's a bit out from Paris, very different, I will say. But yeah, it's nice. It's like a 30-minute walk from the station, so it's a nice little walk, a little breather before I sit down and go in and start playing. Yeah. Looking for, dude. Some of this is a rough place. Let me tell you. All I'm saying is you're not gonna catch me there. Friggin' at night. Hell no. All right, so before I get there, let's talk about my team, the team that I brought today. Basically, it's Eternatus again. Eternatus, just a fun Pokemon. As I mentioned last time, I'm not the biggest fan of playing with the meta. I know that if I want to win, I have to play with the meta, so I think that that's understandable. I think there's moments where people don't play with the meta and they make a good victory. I think some people call out things that they see. I'm not there yet. I don't play that much. People are way more, better in understanding and they can see. But I honestly, so Eternatus, very basic. Dynamax Cannon, Sludge Bomb, Flamethrower, Protect, just to make sure they can hit pretty hard, but balance it out to survive a couple of hits. Then I have 2 partners that manage fields. You have Indeedee and you have Rillaboom. They both serve the same purpose, to mess with the field. Indeedee and Rillaboom together mess a lot with Miraidon. And that's the main kind of Pokemon I see that runs a lot. It's Miraidon, Calyrex, Shadow Rider, Calyrex Ice. I will say of the three, there's one that I do not have a good team for, and it's Cali Ice. I've had a couple of games when I play well against it, but most of the times not too well. Trick Room is really a tough strategy I can't get around. Same thing as Perish Trap. I don't have a team for those guys. So Rillaboom and Indeedee is just like creative ways to support the other Pokemon. And then I went to Iron Hands. I thought a really bulky Assault Vest Iron Hands would be really good. It takes advantage of Miraidon if Miraidon is in the field, and it's just a really good guy. I didn't like close combat. I prefer Drain Punch because he's gonna tend to hit, after most of the times. So I was like, okay, Drain Punch seems like it's a better choice. Obviously, you got your Fake Outs and you have your Heavy Slams for your Fairies. And then lastly, my last two were big changes. I got Raging Bolt, which I love because Raging Bolt, a really high special attack. Raging Bolt benefits from against Miraidon because of electric field, so you get electric boosts. And it also benefits against Sunny teams with Koraidon. So truly, really, really good. I have it with Terra, Electric, Magnet. It just hits very, very hard. It survives a lot of hits. So you at least can get a good Thunderbolt and then a Thunderclap, which is really nice. And lastly, I put a Landorus Therian form. Intimidate is always fun to have on your teams. And I gave it a choice Scarf, Terra, Flying. It hits aggressively hard, just like very, very strong. I think the only thing that outspeeds it, I don't think naturally Calyrex Shadow outspeeds it. I think it needs a Tailwind boost, but it's a good finisher. I don't take too much risk in bringing it against Cali because I know it's an easy KO, but it's a good Pokemon nonetheless. I love it. It's so much fun. I've been playing with it. And it helps clean the field with Amoonguss. It helps clean the field with a lot of Pokemon. So yeah, that's my 6. And we'll see how it goes. Thanks for the explanation, Pass Pablo. Now, before we continue with what happened in the actual event, I do want to give some background on 2 Pokemon. First off, I have 2 shiny Pokemon, Landorus and Rillaboom. Rillaboom is actually a gift from a friend, Andres. I mentioned it in my first video, but I didn't shout out properly. Andres is one of my few Pokemon pals back home in Colombia who actually captured this Rillaboom for me, has a mark, shiny, in a Pokeball the way I like it. So Andres, thank you so much. Your Rillaboom has been really helpful in my VGC journey. Next is my Landorus, which I actually happened to catch in my copy of Pokemon Shield. I caught him in the Dynamax Adventures. I was just randomly catching him. I hadn't caught him in the game. I went, okay, it'd be hilarious if I get this shiny. And then it came out shiny, and I was just blown away. I actually did not believe that Dynamax Adventures were that easy to get shinies, but apparently, I mean, they're not that easy, but you can definitely grind for one. Not as much as other games, but anyways, happy to know that I landed a shiny Landorus for my team. If you're ever interested in using this team or seeing how I approached it, you can take a look at the screen now and you'll see the code up top where you guys can try the team out for yourself. This is a Regulation G team, which means only 1 legendary Pokemon. That regulation is now out, but maybe there's something from this team that might help you later on in future regulations or when Pokemon Champions comes out. So feel free to take a look and try it out for yourself. And now, on to the action. When I arrived to Coesio, I was really excited. This place was much bigger, it was much more elaborate than the first cafe I went to, and I just felt the energy was much more present for this competition. Unfortunately, not a lot of players showed up that day. We were only 4 players in the Master Division. A 5th player was supposed to show up, but he couldn't, and so it was just us 4. For my first matchup, I played against a Chinese player called Yu Ziang. Now, Yu was pursuing points that day. That was his objective, to win, to get points that will hopefully bring him closer to a Worlds invite. Before this tournament, I had played a good amount on Showdown with my team just to get really comfortable, familiar with it. Even if I wasn't winning a lot, as long as I feel comfortable with the teams, I like playing them because I feel like they can move around and I can, think about my strategy ahead of time. And also, they tend to try to fight against what's in the meta. Yu did not bring anything that was in the meta at that time. He brought a Zamazenta team. Now for Regulation G, this really was not the common thread to see a Zamazenta leading the team, but that's what he brought. And my team didn't really fight in too well the team that he had brought together. Unfortunately, I don't have graphic assets to show you the team that he was running, and I don't really have his contact to ask him, so if you could ever share that, great. But if not, all I know is that the team he brought was just really well matched to my team, and I couldn't really figure out
how to unlock my team's potential against his Zamazenta, who was very, very bulky and just strong against most of my Pokemon. That first match, the first overall game ended 2-0. He won both matches. I was able to knock out some Pokemon. It didn't start out as bad as last time I did against Theotim, but regardless, it wasn't a good start of the day, and I was 0-1. Something I am noticing is that it seems that like my very first match is something I need to kind of wake up to. I have this idea as a Colombian where Colombia has a really weird start when it comes to football. I know this is football, this is Pokemon, different things, but anyone who knows Colombian football knows that sometimes our national team doesn't have the best opening minutes in a match, but then later on gets to figure things out. And I kind of feel like in Pokemon, I'm taking a similar approach. I guess as I kind of shed myself and kind of grow within this community, it's my opening match is always kind of difficult for me to see what I'm doing. I'm forgetting my team. I'm kind of memorizing, trying to remember what's going on. Maybe it's too early in the morning. I don't know. But those first matches are always so odd for me that like the first time I lost terribly, and then this time you got me with a really strong team that I was just not prepared for. And so I opened the day 0-1, but was looking forward to the next matchup. The second game I played was against Lorenzo Serrano, a local French player who seems to be part of the community because I see him talk to both you and Nelson, the other competitor of that evening. Lorenzo brought a very different team. See, he brought a Zacian, but he didn't have the Zacian with a rusted sword. And when I noticed that in battle, that really changed a lot of the way I looked at the team, because with a rusted sword, his Zacian would have been really, really strong against, or I feel would have been much better to fight against my Eternatus. While my Eternatus did have Flamethrower, I just feel that the dynamic of a pure fairy type was just not good against my main Pokemon threat. One cool aspect is, of this game, I do have graphic assets because the people at the event who hosted the for VGC France, they actually live streamed this match on their YouTube channel. So I'll be putting a link in the description down below showing you guys so you guys can go and see the full recap as well as their narration, which is in French, which I don't understand, but I can tell a few times they make comments about me that I'm just kind of still seeing if I can interpret. Anyways, they do have the full battle on their website, on their YouTube page, so you guys can go check it out. Basically, after looking back at the battle, how I approached this match was very simple. Eternatus is my main player, and for me, that guy is very, really chunky. It's really hard to take him easily off the field, and nothing except for their Regidrago was the only thing that I thought could really wipe out my team. But Regidrago didn't show up in game one, and only game one, it was very simple. You can see the match. My team had really good movement and had really good control. I think it was a close match nonetheless, but I felt like my team was much more comfortable in managing the proposal that they had with Zacian. I think Zacian was just not a good Pokemon to go up against Eternatus in this situation. At least not this one without its rusted sword. So I went up in the first game. The second game was very different. They came in and approached it much smarter. Came in with the Pokemon that I knew was much more difficult for me to handle, which was Regidrago. Regidrago paired with Tailwind Whimsicott was a common pairing I saw a few times online, and it hit me way too hard. The match snowballed way too quickly out of proportion. I was just not ready for that matchup, and it killed me. It wiped me out. 1-1. But here's the thing. This is where I think is really fun about Pokemon. It's similar to chess and other mental games. Once you understand how your opponent plays or what they like to do with their team, you can kind of begin to read a little bit into that. And so for game number 3, I knew for a fact that he saw that the answer of Regidrago with that Tailwind and Whimsicott was exactly the Pokemon that they wanted to play with. And so I said, okay, sounds good. I think I can beat this team, and I think I can call him out. And so for game number 3, same start, I made a switch. I made a small change with my Indeedee coming in with Eternatus, and something in me just drew attention to the fact that I knew that he was going to come and try to hit Indeedee or try to get rid of it. Luckily, with the psychic seeds, or the seeds that give him special defense boost within psychic terrain, boosted it up, and even though he hit me with a Draco Meteor, I managed to survive that very first hit, which then led me to knock out his Regidrago. Regidrago was the only real threat his team had against my Eternatus and my team in general. And after getting rid of that, everything kind of snowballed into my favor. And so one of the things I love about Pokemon and about VGC is the fact that because you get 3 battles. Now, before, in the olden days when it was just 1, I'd assume that I would have freaked out, I would have lost most of my games because 1 match and how it happens online is just, it's not enough. Things are too unpredictable, things are too crazy, it's a bit more chaotic. But best of 3 really helps to understand you can make changes, adjustments, and fix and more than adjust your own team, you can also adjust the way that you play. If you understand your opponent and what they like to do, Game 2 and Game 3 can be really easy. It can actually be easier for you than thinking, oh, I might lose Game 3. If you can understand to read the match there as you did, which in my case, I read that he understood that he had nothing else in his team except Ray Drago. So if I can get rid of Ray Drago, he has no team to play against me. And that's exactly what I did. I understood that, and I tried to make sure that my Eternatus or my Pokemon could take out that one threat. Once you know how to play that, I think that's where you can learn to move around with your team. And I think that what makes a strong player or a strong team is your understanding within your team how you can make those things happen. What are the tools in your assets that you can make your Pokemon take out somebody else's main threat? And so, for game number 2, I won 2-1, and it gave me finally my first win of the day. Now, game number 3, I was super duper excited for because I was playing against a player who knocked me out last time I played in my locals. It's against Nelson, who had brought his Miraidon team. The team that had taken away the chance for me to go top cut in my very first local event. So this one was a bit of a vengeance because the team that I prepared specifically was for his team. The main reason was at this time, Regulation G had already been after EUIC. Even though Koraidon had done a really good job, people were still sticking to Miraidon. Miraidon is a fantastically smart, strong Pokemon. It's incredibly, it's a powerhouse. And so, but the main thing that gives Miraidon its big powerhouse is the fact that it sets up electrical field, because that electric field boosts up the Pokemon. It makes it stronger. It just makes it very, very aggressively strong. And so my idea was the best way to shut down Miraidon, knowing that I'm coming with Eternatus, is not to focus on Eternatus, it's to focus on taking away the fields. If I have field control, I can totally take away anything that Miraidon can do. And that's the main Pokemon that he had on his team. Sure, his Entei and Urshifu were also very, very strong Pokemon, but I know that everything in Nelson's way of playing, as well as most Miraidon players, is they depend on Miraidon almost solely. So my focus was there. Get rid of the Miraidon, or get rid of the fields, and Miraidon doesn't have much of strength to really take me on. That being said, if you replay, you'll see that even though his movements around the pitch were to make sure that Miraidon was always in a really good position, I always brought with me in this matchup both Rillaboom and Indeedee. That means that any single time that he would bring up Miraidon, I would already erase the field. So if he brought up Miraidon first, I can erase the field with Rillaboom, or if he brings in Miraidon, I can switch Rillaboom for Indeedee and just erase the field over and over again. As long as I can cycle through that way of playing, Miraidon has no way of defeating my team. And effectively, that's what happened to Nelson. He even told me after the match, well, he told me 2 things. He told me, 1, that he thought my team was the same team as last time, so he got a bit more confident in the very first matchup, which fair to him. I mean, he just saw me, he'd think, oh, this, maybe I didn't change anything, because maybe he didn't change much. I can't recall too well. But what I do notice is that in the second matchup, when he finally understood, he said, there's no way I can beat you. The fact that you control the field was taking away everything my Miraidon can do. And that's exactly what I wanted to accomplish, and I did. If you watch the replay, you'll see anytime his Miraidon comes in, it always comes in at the worst time because there's still a field user who's alive and can deal so much damage or can control the field that takes away Miraidon's pure strength and gives the chances for my other Pokemon like my Iron Hands or like my Eternatus to really, really cause a lot of trouble to his team. Truly, this was the team that I focused on defeating, and luckily, I beat it 2-0, giving myself a 2-1 overall for the day. So, after 2 wins and 1 loss, the tournament was over. Yeah, the tournament ended. There wasn't any more matches for the League Cup because there only were 4 players. There's no Top Cup because there's not enough players. And so, well, 2 wins, 1 loss. What does that mean? It means that I won. I won?
This is great. It's our lucky day!
Yeah, I won. What turns out is even if people tie in overall, given the amount of players that we have, the system kind of did a roll of the dice and it drew me as the winner. See, both Nelson and you also ended the day 2-1, but regardless of if I won or lost more matches than either of them, the system just randomly drew a person and they chose me as the winner. So, a win is a win, I guess. I'll let myself in the day talk a bit more of how he felt in that moment.
So I won the cup, but it's kind of bullshit, to be fair. It's pretty dumb. The reason I won was because there's only 4 players, so unfortunately the numbers didn't add up. Like, there wasn't enough people. But I lost round 1, I won round 2, and I won round 3. What's funny is that everybody else, the other 2 players also did that as well. So there was 2 players with 2 wins and 1 loss. And I guess the system arbitrarily just put me in first, and so I get those points, which sucked because the player who I lost to, he was looking for points because he's trying to qualify. I'm really at the end of the season, so there's no way I qualify. And I'm not trying to push for that, so it was a bit unfortunate that happened that way. I mean, I'm really happy to win. Obviously, it's really exciting, but I think that the way I won is kind of I'm not super excited about it, but also I think it doesn't make sense because, for example, I lost to you 2-0 in the first game, in the first round. I won 2-1, then I won 2-0. So in a football term, I know that matters, right? I have more wins than losses overall. But I don't know if they had the same results. And maybe if you had a better result than I did, maybe if he won his 2-0-2-0s, well, then maybe he should get more points or he should be on top. I don't know if apparently that's not a tiebreaker. I have to check, but it was really unfortunate, man. I mean, I feel bad in that sense. I'm really happy to win, but kind of weird.
After the League Cup ended, I had a chance to go have some pizza, hang around, and sit around with the other competitors. And then we came back and finished off the day with a League Challenge, which I also won.
It's our lucky.
In the League Challenge, it was 5 of us. Actually, 1 junior kid stayed, so he played with us. And then the other 4, myself and the other 3 masters were there. But then 1 master left, and so I got it just a bit chaotic. In the end, I didn't play my very first game because I didn't have an opponent, so I got a free win. Then I beat the second player, who was the kid, who unfortunately, he was starting off and playing Pokemon, so the teams were very distant, and the level my team had was very strong, and so I beat him fairly easily. And the third game was against Nelson, who once again played a really, props to Nelson. He understood his team did not have a chance, but yet the movements he made in the game we played for the League Cup, where for League Challenge was very good. Like, smart player. You can tell that he plays and he knows Pokemon very well. His movements were fantastic, but regardless of how much he tried to move, my movements always understood those movements and were always in a position where I always had an advantage. Because once again, without his Miraidon being in good positions, my team was always going to be much stronger and much more well-positioned than his. He did get really close in the first match that we played in that League Challenge, but in the end, I took it and I won again 2-0, and I ended up winning the entire event, meaning I went back-to-back in my second ever VGC event as the winner for both events. Now, am I happy about it? Sure, but I'll let myself from that day explain how he felt.
So it's the end of the both the cup and the league. We were only 4 people at the end of the day, so it's once again, it's I think it's unfortunate the way that I won this, because I mean, to what one of the competitors said, he said, "Hey, you still had to win the matches to be up there," and that's fair. I did have to win them. I won the matches. I did win a couple of matches. That is true. I did win a couple of matches, and it's good. I think it's funny to have all these like prizes here because I got lucky. because in the cup, obviously the draw was they had to throw a dice, and I got to roll the dice that benefited me, and I won under the system. And then for the League Cup, I didn't play the first match because we actually had a kid who was a junior playing with us, or I forgot what he was, but he was playing with us, so they counted 5 people. So the first match I didn't play. The second match I won okay, I won both matches, great. And the third match I got against the junior, he didn't have the best team, and I won. And then the system all again put me at number 1. So I got very lucky, but it was really fun to come here. The people are really nice. The only thing I've noticed so far within Pokemon is people are super, super nice. And I really hope to kind of keep on coming and being a part of it. Competing is fun, but also helping out people would be nice, you know, helping out people build their teams and like support. I'd love to work with a person who's a really like, strong competitor and just like play with them and kind of like learn from a more seasoned professional. I don't want to play for glasses. I just think it's more fun to do with like a friend who's like really good. I mean, it'd be nice, you know? But yeah, so yeah, on my way home. Today's the end of another fun day. And I got some gifts to give now, which is really excited. So I hope my wife's nephew is, my wife's nephew, I hope he enjoys these awesome prizes. This was my second competition, and off to the next.
So there you have it. That was my second participation in a local VGC event, which I won. Not just that, as you may recall from last time, I had a little tradition where I have my opponents sign a Pokemon card. Well, this time, here's my card. It was a Ursaluna Blood Moon, a little French card here. And I got signature from all 3 of the players that I played against. So I really thank you guys for doing this and for signing my card. These cards here are, as I said, a memory of the opportunity to get to play against amazing players, about the event itself, and it's just a nice way to cherish something, an opportunity of me to participate in VGC. So, I hope you enjoyed my victory here in Locals. Now, the 2025 season is officially over. By the time you're watching this, Worlds has already passed, a new champion has been crowned, and the season has come to an end. I joined the season very much at the end. I was not gonna try to push to chase anything. And even then, I questioned myself, what is my future in the world of VGC? Well, my future is very simple. I love to battle. I love to make teams, and the fact that there's more events happening here very often is just a chance for me to be able to communicate with the community and to hopefully be part of it and to hopefully make more Pokemon friends, which is kind of something I've always really wanted, is more friends who like to actually play VGC and compete. I have a few back home, but not really enough, and it'd just be nice to make more friends playing VGC. So I hope that this just opens more doors to that. As for next season, well, the 26th season already started, and there's already an event coming up very soon here in Paris. The first one of the season, as far as I'm aware. So let's just say I am gearing up the brand new season and starting off fresh. Hopefully with as good results as this tournament did, but not looking to win, just making sure to have as much fun as possible. So, here's to a new season. See you next time.
I'll get the puzzle I'll give it to the gift.
And booster. Yes, you have a right also.